Tip off another weekend with our NBA Friday doubleheader. Zach LaVine and the Bulls are in Philly to take on Joel Embiid and the Eastern Conference leading Sixers, 7:30 Eastern. The Jazz are the NBA's hottest team. They square off against Kawhi and the Clips. Our coverage starts with NBA Countdown at 7 Eastern on ESPN and the app. LeBron James, Kevin Durant will serve as team captains for the All-Star Game and draft the rosters from the pool of players voted as starters and reserves in each conference. Here's a look who's voted as starters: Luka, Steph, the Joker, Kawhi, Kyrie, Bradley Beal, Giannis, and Joel Embiid. Noticeably missing Dame Lillard. Stephen A., is Lillard underappreciated?
I don't think there's any question that he's underappreciated, because when we talk about players, we don't just talk about numbers. We talk about when they deliver those numbers. That's the key that gets lost here in the shuffle. If you look at Steph Curry's numbers, for example, they're a little bit better than Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard is averaging nearly 30, 29.7 points a game, 7.7 assists, I think like 5 rebounds or whatever. Steph Curry's averaging 30. All right, with 6.5 assists. He's shooting better from the field. Of course, he's shooting better from three-point range because he's the best shooter ever known to man. This is who Steph Curry is, and we understand that. So I would side with my man White Mike Wilbon when he says instead of one of them starting in the backcourt, why not both of them? You know what? I look at it and I say to myself, excuse me, I don't think a guy like a Luka Doncic needs to be starting ahead of a Damian Lillard or anything like that. But here's the thing that I really, really want to get into. Damian Lillard is a closer. You remember that movie Glenn Ross with Alec Baldwin, Max, when he stole the show in the first 10 minutes of the movie? Always be closing.
ABC.
That is what Damian Lillard does. The Chicago Bulls know it. The New Orleans Pelicans know it. Everybody, Golden State Warriors know it. Everybody knows it, okay? I mean, Paul George, and when he was with Oklahoma City, they knew it. Patrick Beverley, when he was in Houston, they know it. They said since 2012, nobody has hit more game-winning shots, more clutch shots. Not even Steph Curry. Nobody. Not LeBron James, not Steph Curry, not James Harden. Nobody has hit more clutch shots, more game-winning shots than Damian Lillard. And by the way, the brother signed his 6-year extension for $250 million, largest contract in NBA history, and nobody blinked. You know why? Because we know why. It's because of this right here. It's because it's Dame time. That's what I'm talking about here. When you sit up there and think about it, even with Steph Curry, think about this. Steph Curry is the greatest shooter God ever created, as far as I'm concerned. And still, nobody strikes more fear in your heart with the ball in their hands.
That's right.
And the game on the line.
That's right.
Than Damian
That's why
Lillard.
He's not underappreciated, Stephen A. You just said it. He signed for $250 million. No one blinked. He is among the most respected superstars in American team sports. By the way, he got the $250 million contract. He's got commercials. Everyone knows it's Dame time. He can rhyme. He is widely respected, practically revered by the national press. Everyone loves Damian Lillard. He is the example of what you want from a franchise player. That's not being underappreciated. Now, should he have been starting on this All-Star team? Yep, he should have been starting. Over Doncic. Should have been him and Steph Curry in the backcourt. Barely over Doncic.
I agree.
Barely, but over Doncic. Does that mean that Doncic is more appreciated? Maybe. But Doncic is, global. Damian Lillard plays in an inaccessible market where the games are on very late for a team that usually doesn't make deep playoff runs. He's also 6'2" and 30 years old. So when you look at Damian Lillard, also, by the way, he just got to this level last couple seasons. Before that, he was still great. But Lillard, because he is so ambitious and wants to be great, is constantly getting better. So the last 2 years, he's been playing like at MVP conversation level. Steph's been doing that for 6 or 7. Luka's been doing that for 2 years, too. But he's not 6'2" and 30. He's 6'8" and he's 21 years old. And he plays in Dallas, a much bigger media market, whose games aren't on quite as late as the games are on in Portland. And so for those reasons, he gets more attention, even though the way Lillard's playing, even that's changing. For example, I think most people would agree with you and me, that Lillard really should be starting in this game. Does that mean he's underappreciated? I don't think so. I think people appreciate he's an MVP caliber player who just got there the last couple of years, went from an all-star plus, the 4.5 guy to a 5.0 guy in the last couple of years. I think people appreciate he's been carrying a team racked with injuries, but he hasn't played on great teams. We haven't seen him make deep playoff runs. He doesn't play in L.A. or New York or Dallas or Miami or a place like that.
But it's never been the case, Max. And the fact of the matter is Luka Doncic is already starting. He's got a worse record. They haven't made any deep playoff runs either. Yeah. He's young, of course. He just got here a couple of years ago. We understand that. But in the end, the point is he's been doing what he's been doing over a sustained period of time. When we were talking about the MVP, his name didn't even come up until we brought it up the other day.
Well,
we brought it up the other day. Didn't even come up.
But Lillard
That's the kind of stuff we're talking about.
Well, don't forget, what I mean is he keeps giving better and better evidence that he's there, like 43 and 16 the other night.
The fact that it's required matters.
No, but he was top 10 in everyone's list. Now
saying,
maybe he's top 5 because he keeps getting better.
When we talk about the word appreciation, we're not talking about numbers. We understand. Everybody knows the numbers. I'm talking about, when you talk about appreciation, somebody in the mind's eye, they automatically come to your mind when you're talking about them because of what you've done over a sustained period of time, a sustained level of listen, the players voted him. The media voted for him. The fans don't, okay? So you basically have a tie. The tie basically, according to a lot of folks in the NBA, should go to the guy with a better record in the conference, et cetera, et cetera. That wasn't applicable here. Better record than Golden State. Better record than Dallas. I'm just saying you got to look at what the guy does.
I agree. And for that reason,
CJ McCollum, no Nurkic.
Though it's very close, I would take Lillard over Doncic this year to start.
I agree.
But it is very close. And the reason generally Doncic has gotten more press over the last couple of years, I wouldn't say much more press. Again, Lillard's a guy with commercials who we actually do talk about Dame time. Everyone knows it. But the reason is because Doncic showed up in the league, 20 years old, giving people practically a triple-double with 30 points.
I guess you've been sitting here on First Take without me because the fact of the matter is that we barely brought him up and nobody else brought him up until we brought him up. They don't talk about him enough. He's been doing it for years. They don't talk about him enough.
He's been doing it at this level for 2 years.
I'm on the show by myself. I missed those shows. When the hell we talk about him?
We argued last year, Steph or Dame.
We just brought it up because I brought it up the other day.
Last year we argued Steph or Dame. Steph Curry.
Okay. All right. We do
Stephen
240
just wants
shows
a little more
year,
Dame time in everyone's life.
You know what the hell I'm saying?
Lillard
Stop
leads
like
the
NBA
in clutch time points and clutch time shooting percentage. It should be called Dame time, not clutch time. Let's leave it there, fellas.
Doubt.
We got more to debate coming up on First Take. Kyrie, talking the talk, walking the walk. Harden too. Should the Nets be favored to win the finals? Big Perk, where you at? He'll be with us in just a bit.